Hello, guys. This is Santa, and like I said, there has been a new collaboration heroes that has been added, and you guys can also go ahead and check it out through the dictionary or the codex. And after the ISA, there will have this new section where it says collaboration. So you guys can go ahead and click on that, and you guys can see there are five new heroes that has been added. So uh, they are collaboration with the Guilty Gear X, I believe it was. And there are five, different ones, and I'll just go ahead and then briefly explain, their skills and etc. Mainly, and then you guys can go ahead and check out their stats, through using different things. I'm assuming you could still use the Finas on these, so probably I'm assuming it'll be harder to get. So mainly you'll probably be using Fina, I guess. So here it is. Here's the first one. His name is Kai, and his passive is that he takes 30% reduced damage from enemies, and deals the damage back. So the reflecting damage, and also has a status element immunity for 2 turns for himself. And Ride the Lightning. That's a skill. Okay, so 80-second cooldown and 5% AoE with 50% physical twice, and ignores defense, so that's pretty nice. I wish it has a piercing though. Okay, but this one do is 5% AoE with 70% physical twice with the piercing. So interesting. Piercing has been so crucial and necessary in this game now. Um, and one with the ignore defense, one with the piercing. So let's go ahead and look at the ignore defense first. So what I've noticed is that with this set, a lot of them do zoom up quite a bit. But here it is. That one's the piercing. It looks pretty nice, although somehow it really reminds me of Fengyan. But it is a fighter type as well, so you don't really have to use all rounder. But uh, this one is all rounder. But here it is. Here's the passive for 6 turns. All of the allies gaining 50% less damage from physical attacks, and also um, any kind of resist any kind of the reducing skills. So what I'm assuming is, like, for instance, like reduce a turn buff or anything like that, or reduce the damages that they will deal, like things like Rachel and other, I guess, things like that. But I guess it's gonna be really good, just because for 6 turns, all of your allies are gonna get 50% less, damages. So that is really great. Although he doesn't, or she, I should say, she doesn't have any immunities from hits, which that will make a very kind of like a downside, since then she gotta stay alive for the passive. And here it is, her first skill, 5% AoE once again, 100% magic damages just once. And for 2 turns, it reduces a enemies of physical attack and damage dealing by 40%. So it specifically targets a physical decks, just because physical decks are really popular. Although the magic teams are coming back, she is magic, so she will be very crucial and essential for a lot of different magic decks to go against the physical as well. And this one, 3%, 60% magic damage to the enemy, and also reduce a turn buff by 3 turns. So not bad, not bad. 3 turns is actually more than enough. So here it is. Her skills. This one is the crit. Interesting. I actually haven't played this, I guess, the game, so I don't know much about these characters, but they are very interesting. So one thing, like I said, one of their skill just zooms into them really a lot. Uh, but here it is. I'm also, not doing the times two, so it might looks very slow, but It's actually pretty cool effects that they decided to put. Here it is. This is the guy Soul. I briefly looked at him, but his passive is that he has a hit immunity for 5 hits, or the voice shield that some of you guys are also calling, and also increase a lethal chances for the lethal chances on the back line for your team. So can be, I guess, used for some of like a even like a raid, I guess, to increase the chances for like a Shane or the single target nukers. And here it is, Tyrant Rave. I guess that's his skill. 3-person target, 60% physical, 3 times. That's actually pretty good. With a critical, with critical. So, too bad it doesn't have any piercing on this one, but it's still really great. Just because the ones that doesn't have any voice shield or anything like that, they will still take a lot of damages. And here it is, Ground Viper as a skill, 4-person target, physical, 50%, 50%, physical, 3 times, and it applies a piercing. So you guys can see that a lot of new ones, they come basically with a piercing, just because it's so great. But here it is. I'm assuming, yeah. So his weapon is like a lighter, I guess. A huge ass lighter. So interesting. Fire. So far it was like what, fire, lightning. Interesting. So we got so far one fire, one lightning. I guess I don't even know. Sword on the other one. Here's another one for a magic hero again. So, and she is a magic. Let me just see the other one. This one was physical. This one's magic, and this one's passive. Her name is Jam, and her passive is that for 3 turns, your allies get immunity for the reflection damage, and also for her, she has a hit immunity for 3 turns. So any kind of damage for 3 turns. So piercing would still apply though, so that's one downside, but still she will be tanky for some sense. For her first skill, 1-person target, 120% magic damage 3 times with a piercing, and reduce a turn buff 4 turns. So, wow. So, reduce a turn buff for 4 turns is really a lot. With a piercing, and applies it 3 times. So, for single target, that is really great skill. And next one is 4-person target, 80% magical, twice, and applies a piercing. So similar. And you guys can see that there's has been some of the new cover pages as well. So here it is. Interesting. But you guys can see that a lot of magic decks are coming out as well, just because they are trying to promote them. Interesting skills that they're using. Kind of also reminds me of Rachel, since he uses a phoenix. Okay, so their names are so long and they have so much titles, so I'm going to skip them, and I don't even know how I would even pronounce that. So Trick or Treat, that is her skill. I mean the passive, and she has a voice shield for basically 5 hits, and also allies get damage dealing, and magic increases by 40%. So I guess in a way a little bit similar to a Yunhee's passive, but she can be still used. So she could be, I guess, the replacement, I guess, as well. So 1-person target, 200% magic damage, and for 2 turns, it will deal a poison damage for 600% of your magic. So pretty darn great. So far, the only poison that I really had from the normal heroes were Pekkak, but I guess the more poisons are also coming in out. And then Forever Elysion Driver. That's her skill. Interesting names, a lot of English names. I mean, I'm assuming just because it's the Guilty Gears. But for all persons, 5% AoE, 140% magic damage, and with a piercing. So everyone has piercing, and she's an all-rounder too. So here it is. Interesting. I'm so tempted to actually spend money and get these heroes just because they're so nice. The collaboration works are pretty interesting, and they're co-working with a lot of different companies, so it makes the game much more fun. So interesting heroes that are out, and since they made a collaboration page, I'm also assuming that they will have more collaboration heroes on the future as well. So there it is. Those are the special ones. You like I said, you guys can also go ahead and go on here and press on the Guilty Gear, and you can purchase one for I think the $11 or maybe a little bit more, or the $33. Depends on which region you guys live in. The prices might be different, but in one is I guess 30,000 won and 11,000 won. So here it is, the new Guilty Gear Heroes. I hope you guys liked it, and if you guys have any other questions, you guys can also ask me during the live stream or through the messages as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you and then come back with more videos in the future. Thank you.